the online that is bookseller is scientific books. Okay, so it says that the logical connection takes place between the application layer of a computer at Sky Research Lab and the application layer of a server at scientific books. So we can assume that there is a logical connection. मतलब જે સાયન્ટિસ્ટો પોતાનું કોમ્પ્યુટર છે તે અને જે સાયન્ટિફિક બુક જે બુક સેલર છે તેનો જે સર્વર છે તે તો એ બેની વચ્ચે we can say that application layer at the scientist computer and the application layer at this bookseller's computer. So there is a logical connection between these two application layer, and the data is going to be sent and data is going to be received. Okay. Some of the important concepts related to the application layer is the application layer. That is the first step for getting the data onto the network. Okay, that means the task of taking the data from the user that can be done by the application layer. Okay, but if we want to take some data from the user, okay, so it is not like that કે user પાસે direct channel નો access છે તો એમાં direct data નાખી દે છે. So that thing is not possible. So for that we require the user interface through which the user can send some data. Okay, so we can say that for that we require the application software. So application software is nothing but the program used to communicate over the network. So for example, let's say we have the Google Chrome, or we are using the whatever browsers, or if you are using the Facebook, or if you are sending some mail, or let's say કે આપણે જે Google Meet પર communication કરીએ છે. For this every communications, the whatever user interface. For example, અહીંયા જે Google Meet નો interface છે, that is the one application. ને તમારા બાજુ જે Google Meet નો interface છે, that is one application. The communication between these two applications can be done by the application layer. For example, when displaying a web page, the application layer uses the HTTP protocol and the application software is your browser. Okay, so that means let's say on your browser you are searching something. At that time we require some of the protocol like the HTTP protocol. So the task of this protocol is to take data from the user and according to the format કે તમારો ડેટા ને જનરેટ થશે કયા ફોર્મેટમાં આવશે અને કઈ રીતે ટ્રાન્સફર થશે, that can be defined by the protocol. Okay, so the application layer we require some of the protocol that can take the data from the user and bind it to create a packet that can be sent to the transport layer and then after network layer, and then it can be finally physical layer, and then it is going to be transmitted. Okay, so we can say that whatever protocols on the application layers are there, it can directly communicate with the transport layer protocol. For example, let's say TCP can communicate with the HTTP. Same way UDP can communicate with HTTP. Okay, so that means whatever the data that is going to be generated by HTTP, that will deliver to the transport layer. Transport layer will create the message, and then network layer will create the packet, then frame and bit, and then signals are going to be transmitted. Okay. So for example, okay, so application layer paradigm. So the first paradigm, that is in which you can fetch the data from the server. Okay, so normally the up till now this normal paradigm was used in which the multiple devices are working as a client and the one device is working as a server. So you can see here that we have the two different network or two different LAN in which these two devices are working as a client, and here we have the single server from which these two clients can fetch the data. Okay, so in between we can have many devices like router and switch. Okay, but finally the data will be fetched from the server and delivered to the respected clients. Okay, so for example, several traditional services uses this paradigm. For example, World Wide Web. Okay, www છે આપણો HTTP protocol છે, FTP protocol છે, SSH, email. So all these up till now, all these okay, so all these protocols are using this client server model. in which our own device is working as a client, and we can have a FTP server, or we can say a HTTP server, FTP server, from which you are fetching some data. Okay, you are sending some query and you are fetching the data from the server. Okay, so this is known as the client server model, and this is currently going to be used in many of the applications, like when we are sending some mail or when you are transferring some files. So every time we are using this client server model. Okay, but the biggest disadvantage of this client server model is the overload on the server. Okay, overload on the server. If the hundred or thousands or millions of users are using the same server, it may possible that the overload, or the we can say the overload on the server is going to be increased, and it may possible that server is not able to provide request within the time limit. Okay, so the various solutions are there. We can have multiple server, like a Google na જે રીતે ઘણા બધા server છે, કે પછી Gmail ના ઘણા બધા server છે. So that concept we can use. Okay, but still there is a problem of overloading when we have the client server paradigm. Okay, so our new paradigm is the peer-to-peer. Okay, the new paradigm, we have the peer-to-peer communication. So in which we can say that there is no specific client or no specific server. Okay, we can say that everyone is working as a client and everyone is working as a server. For example, here we have the three different LAN. So here, if there is a communication between this LAN and this LAN, so here this one is working as a client, this one is working as a server. Okay, so depending on the same way, the communication between these two LAN. So one is working as a client, one is working as a server. So we can say that we can directly connect with any of the any of the devices in another network, and we can take the data from it. For example, let's say જ્યારે આપણે WhatsApp પર communication કરીએ છીએ, so WhatsApp પર જ્યારે આપણે communication કરતા હોય, so it is not like that કે પહેલા આપણો data server પરથી જાય અને server પાસેથી data ફરી પાછા આપણો receiver ને મળે. So that type of communication is not possible when you are using that WhatsApp chatting. Okay, so what we can do is we can directly connect with another user, and we can ask for some data. Okay, so that is known as the peer-to-peer communication. The advantage of this peer-to-peer communication is the in case of the client to server, server should be in the continuous mode. Okay, server should be able to continuously asking for any connection request. Okay, that is the biggest disadvantage of client to server communication. If the server is not able to provide the server is not able to accept any client request, then we can say the communication is not possible. While in case of this peer-to-peer approach, there is no specific client or no specific server. Every devices can communicate with each other. Okay, so for example, let's say WhatsApp communications or the Facebook communication, in which your data is not going to be stored at a central server, and then it is going to the specific devices. Rather than every device can communicate with some another devices in the another network. Okay, so these are, we can say, the real-time data that is going to be transmitted during these communications. Okay, so that's why there is one important concept like real-time services. There is so many protocols are there. These are designed for this RTS services. Okay, so that is the concept of advanced computer network. But still, here we should know that these two type of approaches can be possible. One is the client to server, while this one is the peer-to-peer. Okay. There are some new applications such as BitTorrent or Skype or IPTV, internet telephony, so that are using this peer-to-peer approach. Okay, like just Skype for communication करता हो कि Google Meet पर कि Zoom पर, so at that time the real-time data is going to be transmitted. Okay, so for this such type of applications, we require peer-to-peer approach. Okay. The another thing is the mixed paradigm, in which we can combine the both approach, that is the client server paradigm and peer-to-peer paradigm. Okay, so an application may choose to use a mixture of the two paradigms by combining the advantages of both. For example, a light load client server communications can be used to find the address of the peer that can offer a service. Okay, so for example, using that client server communication, first we will find the address of the peer. Okay, so that is, it's only the single message. Okay, and single message and single response. Once we have got the response, we can directly communicate with that server, communicate with that devices. Okay, so when the address of the peer is found, the actual service can be received from the peer by using the peer-to-peer paradigm. Okay, so can anyone say this example? So the best example for this mixed paradigm is our DNS communications. Okay, for example, let's say when you want to communicate with the Google server, you require the IP address of the Google server. Okay, so what you can do, first you send your request to the DNS server, and using that request you will find the IP address of that particular server. Okay, so એકવાર તમને Google server નું address મળી જાય, then directly perform the communication with that Google server. Okay, so to perform the communication between the user and the DNS server, we are using the client server paradigm. While once we got the IP address of the particular website, we can directly perform the communication with that website server. Okay, so this is the mixed paradigm example. Okay, so in this client server programming can be done using the socket programming. So that thing we have learned in the lab session, that the socket programming can be either done using a TCP or UDP. Okay, so TCP is a connection oriented communication, while UDP is a connection less communication. If it is a connection oriented, then we have to go with the 3 steps, that is the connection establishment, data transfer, and connection release. But in case of the UDP, we don't require the connection establishment step. We can directly send the data whenever it has something to send. Okay, so for example, the email transfer that can be done by using the TCP, while the DNS request, DNS query, that thing can be done by the UDP. Okay, so using the socket programming, either using the TCP or UDP, you can implement any type of client server programming. Okay, for example, if you want to implement the DNS server, that is also possible using the socket programming. If you want to implement the email server, that is also possible using the socket programming. Okay, so this is about the client server programming. So we are not discussing more about it. We have already covered this thing in the lab session, and that is also the part of the syllabus. Okay, so you can have questions in your exam that write a program to perform the communications with the server. So that thing you can perform using the socket programming. Okay, so we'll come next. We are going to start the application layer protocols. Okay, so as I have stated that to perform the communications at the applications, we require the protocol that will take the data from the user and create the packet. Same way at the server side, it will fetch the data from the server and provide to the client. Okay. So for that, we have to we require some application layer protocols. So for example, we are going to use this 7 different protocols that are going to be used on application layer. The first protocol is DNS. The full form is domain name system. Okay, whose port number is 53. Second one is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Acronym is HTTP. It is going to be used port number 80. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It is using the port number 25. So this is the one mark questions. It is going to be asked in the exam, or it may possible that if you are preparing for some competitive exam like the NET, GATE, or if you are preparing for some government exams, then in that written exam, this type of questions can be asked, like acronym for DNS or the full name for DNS, HTTP, SMTP, like that. QoP is Post Office Protocol. It is going to be used port number 1110. Telnet using the port number 23. DHCP Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol is using the port number 67, and the FTP File Transfer Protocol (FTP) it is using the port number 20 and 21. Okay, so we have to learn all this protocol in the detail. So application layer protocol, first one is the DNS, the domain name to IP. That means provide the conversion from domain name to IP. That can be done by the DNS. FTP create HTML web pages on localhost and move on the server. Okay. For example, let's say we have the various service provider. Suppose તમારે કોઈ પણ વેબસાઇટ બનાવી હોય. Okay. So website બનાવ્યા પછી you have to take the service from some web service provider. Okay. So you can either contact like a GoDaddy, Amazon Web Service. So these are the some web service provider that can what it will do. So using this FTP protocol, it will ask you your web pages. So using that FTP from your local computer, you can transfer your data from that web service provider. Okay, and then every handling can be done by this web service provider. So whenever there is any HTML request, we can directly contact with that web service provider. Okay, so transfer the data from your local computer to that web service provider, or we can say from local computer to the server, we require the FTP. Then we have the HTTP that if you want to get the web pages, then we require the HTTP. SMTP, so sending the mail and receiving the mail, we require the SMTP. Okay, and POP, retrieving mail. Okay, so this SMTP and POP comes in the combination. SMTP is used for sending the mail, while POP is used for retrieving the mail at the receiving side. So we will learn these two protocols in detail also. Okay. So first we are going to start with the DNS. Then we learn about the FTP, www and HTTP, SMTP and POP. So by that way, your module is going to be added. Okay. So first we will start with DNS. Okay. So what is the need of DNS? So it is said that we humans can easily remember the name rather than the number. Okay. For example, let's say કે તમારા ક્લાસરૂમમાં બધાને તમારા નંબરથી જ બોલાવવાનો એમ કીધું હોય, then it is somewhat difficult. Okay, તમને યાદ તો રહી જાય, but that task is somewhat difficult. But નામથી બોલાવવા કીધું હોય, then task is somewhat easy. The same thing is about the websites. Okay, so it is said that rather than using the every website by IP address, it is convenient way to remember that website name by domain name. Okay, one problem with using the IP address with the website is, let's say if you are moving from one service provider to another service provider, IP address is going to be changed. Okay, for example, let's say currently your website, for your website, you are taking the service from the GoDaddy. Okay, so if you are taking the service from the GoDaddy, then for your server, you have assigned the one IP address. Okay, but if you have find something difficulty with GoDaddy, and now we are moving with the Amazon service provider, now your IP address is going to be changed. પહેલા તમારા સર્વરને જે IP address આવેલો હતું, that now it is going to be changed. Okay, so that's why the convenient way is moving from IP address to the domain name. That means whether the mapping IP address is going to be changed, domain name can be remain same. For example, let's take www.ppsu.ec.in. So suppose GoDaddy સાથે હતા ત્યારે આપણને એક IP address મળ્યું છે, but now we are changing from some another service provider like the Amazon, then that IP address is going to be changed. Okay, so at that time, if we are communicating using that previous IP address, then that thing is not possible. Okay, so what is the solution? We can use the domain name that is going to be remain same for all type of communication. Okay, for example, suppose the FTP site at Edgesoft had an IP address of 132.147.165.50. Okay, so most people would reach this site by specifying ftp.edgesoft.com. We don't need to specify the IP address. Okay, although using the IP address you can connect, but using the domain name like the ftp.edgesoft.com, using that domain name you can directly connect with your particular FTP site. Okay, so therefore we can say the domain name is more reliable than IP address. Okay, so that's why we require the DNS that can provide the conversion from domain name to the IP address. Okay, so what is the purpose of DNS? So we can say that here we have the file transfer client. Okay, so there are two types of the first one, at the client side we have the DNS client, at the server side we have the DNS server. Okay, so whenever you are typing something URL, જ્યારે પણ કોઈ પણ URL આપણે ટાઈપ કરીએ છીએ, let's say www.ppsu.ac.in. So this host name, okay, here at the application layer we have the file transfer client, so that will provide this domain name to the DNS client. So DNS client will create a query in which the query indicates that I require the IP address corresponding to the www.ppsu.ac.in, and that query will be sent to the DNS server. Okay, so at the DNS server we have the one type of database that has the corresponding entry between that domain name and IP address. So the corresponding IP address is going to be fetched from the server, and in response it is delivered to the DNS client. Okay, then after this DNS client will deliver that IP address to the file transfer client, and using that IP address now we can provide the communication with the destination IP. So જે કંઈ પણ IP address મળ્યું છે that is delivered to the network layer. Network layer packet create કરશે એના destination IP માં, પછી આ IP address set કરશે, એના પછી જશે data link layer પર, અને પછી જશે physical layer પર, and by that way it is going to be transmitted. But at the topmost કોઈ પણ communication, okay, the first communication always start with DNS. We have the DNS request and we have the DNS response. In the DNS query, we are fetching for the corresponding IP address, and the DNS response, we are getting the particular IP address, and that is used for all future communication. Okay. So it is not a that much simple task. We require so many in between processing to perform this task. Okay. So the first thing about this DNS is the DNS is a TCP/IP protocol used on different platforms. The domain name space is divided into 3 different sections. Okay, so what is the meaning of domain name? So you can say the domain name is particularly used to divide your network into the various domains. Okay, so for example, you can have a generic domains and you can have country domains. So suppose when you are writing something like a www.google.com, so at that time you are using the domains. So here the com is one domain, same way in is one domain, okay, ac is one domain. So by that way, depending on the domains, the various types of data is going to be distinguished. Okay, for example, okay, so the domain name space is divided into 3 different sections. It can be generic domains, it can be the country domains, and it can be the inverse domain. Okay, so generic domain में क्या क्या है? So we can have a int, com, okay, edu, gov, mil, org, net. This all comes as a generic domains. Okay, so jp, us, nl, India માટે છે આપણું in. So that is known as the country domain. Okay, so whenever you are making any DNS request, so first of all it is go to the root domain. So there is the one root server. Okay, so it is not like that કે જે કંઈ પણ જે બધા server છે. Okay, so for example, let's say we have the thousands of the website. Okay, so બધી વેબસાઇટ નું corresponding IP જો આપણે એક જ સર્વર માં સ્ટોર કરવા જઈએ, okay, so that thing can be, that means we require a huge database. Okay, so that thing is not possible. So the solution is we can divide your internet based on the various domains, and each domain has its own server. Okay, તો આપણને જે ટાઈપની આપણી DNS રિક્વેસ્ટ આવે છે, based on that it will search into the particular domain and then it will try to find out the corresponding IP. Okay, so for example, let's say www.ppsu.ac.in. So first of all, we have to go with the AC domain, and from the AC domain we have to go with the IN domain. Okay, no, first we have to go with the IN domain, then we have to go with the AC domain, like that. Okay, so IN is for India and AC is for academic, like that. Okay, so depending on that hierarchy of the domain, we can move from one server to the other server, and finally we will got our corresponding IP. Okay, the generic domain, it defines the register host according to that generic behavior. Okay, so it generally use 3 character labels, and these labels describe the organization type. For example, we can have a .com, .edu, .gov, .mil, .org, .net. Okay, so com sana made use થાય? So com is generally used for the commercial organization. Okay, so Google છે કે પછી Yahoo છે, so these are the some famous commercial organizations, so they are using this com domain name. Then we have the EDU, Educational Institute. Okay, so suppose we are visiting some foreign university website, so they are using that EDU domain. Government institute, they are using the GOV domains. Military groups, એના માટે છે આપણું MIL domain. Okay. Non-profit organizations. So for example, let's say કે આપણી પોતાની કોઈ કંપની છે. Okay, so for that they have to use this org domain and net domain. Okay, so that is used for the network support centers. So there are some network support websites are there, so for that they are using this the net domain. Okay, so these are some generic domains. Same way, the country wise we can have some country domains, but before that each node in a tree defines the domain name, which is an index to the DNS database. Okay, so whenever you want to search in that DNS server database using that generic domain name, you can search into the particular values. Okay, so for example, let's say कि तमे www.google.com. Okay, so www.google.com, that means we have to search into this com database. Okay, suppose we have that website of let's say કે GOV. Okay, so GOV કોના માટે યુઝ કરી શકીએ આપણે? So for example, જેથી આપણી પોતાની કોઈ કંપની છે તેના માટે આપણું GOV છે. Okay, so at that time we have to search into the GOV domain. Okay, like અહીંયા છે આપણું EDU, that is majorly used for the educational institute. Okay, so EDU માંથી particularly suppose you are searching on that School of Engineering website. Okay, so in the EDU we can have a School of Engineering, at that we can have a computer engineering, like that. Okay, so by that way we can have a hierarchy of this domain name. So depending on that your search, if your search is for that particular SOE website, then your it will search into that PPSU domain. In the PPSU domain, first it will go with that in domain, then it will go with the AC domain, and then finally it will go with that SOE domain. So by that way we can search in the DNS database. Okay. Then we have the country domain like the .in, .us, .uk. So this format of country domain is same as a generic domain, but it uses the 2-character country abbreviation. For example, for US we have the .us domain, for India we have the .in, for Japan we have the .jp, for UK we have the .uk. So these are the different country domains. Okay. Then we have the first domain. So generally sometimes from the given the IP address, if you want to search for the domain name, or the given the domain name, if you want to search for the particular IP address, then you can use this type of inverse domain. For example, like in the second lab, we have used that NS lookup command. Okay, so using that NS lookup command, you can find out the corresponding IP address. Okay, so this thing is majorly responsible for the load balancing. Okay, so how it can perform the load balancing? So it is said that the same copy of the data, okay, for example, 3 copies of data on 3 servers, like Gmail data on 3 different servers. Okay, so આપણી ડેટાની 3 કોપી છે that is going to be maintained on 3 different servers. Okay, so for example, એક સર્વર સપોઝ તમે ns lookup google.com લખો તો પહેલી વાર લખે જ્યારે આપણને એક IP એડ્રેસ બતાવે, બીજી વાર લખે જ્યારે આપણને બીજું બતાવે. That means so how you cannot decide કે આમાંથી google.com નું કયું IP address is matching. What is the reason? The reason is the same copy of the data. આપણો જે content છે, so that related content is copied on 3 different servers. Okay, so suppose if one server is not reachable, it will immediately fetch the data from the another server. Okay, so જે ટાઈમે જે સર્વર આપણને accessible બતાવે, so that nslookup command will provide the IP address of that server. So by that way, we can perform the load balancing and also we can get the fast response. Okay, so that means we can't have no delay for mapping. So whenever we have the matching IP is there, that is fetched from that particular server and delivered to the client. So hierarchy of the name server. So it says that on the topmost we have the root server. Then on the second level we have this country servers like the edu server, then com server, then US server. Okay, so at the second level we have the generic servers and country servers. Okay, so root server પછી જોશે કે આમાંથી આપણું com માટે છે કે US માટે છે કે IN માટે છે. Based on that, it will send your request to the com server or edu server to the US server. Okay. Now edu server might say that one is for fhda.edu, second one is for pk.edu, like that. So for example, let's say we have the soe.edu or the sos.edu. So જે તમારી request છે, based on that will send the data to the particular server. And finally, we can get the corresponding IP address and that is delivered to the client. Okay. So these domain names and labels. So like for example, here we can assume that suppose we are typing that computer.soe.ppsu.edu. So computer.soe.ppsu.edu. So to say computer.soe, so that means the પહેલા request જશે તમારી root server પાસે. So root server કેવું છે આપણું? root server is edu. Okay, so that means જ્યારે પણ request આવે છે તમારી તો ત્યાંથી પહેલા ક્યાં જાય? edu server પર. ત્યાંથી ક્યાં જાય? પછી edu server પછી જશે આપણી ppsu.edu server પર. ત્યાંથી જશે પછી આપણી soe.ppsu.edu અને finally computer.soe.ppsu.edu, and finally it will fetch that corresponding IP address delivered to the client. So this is about the DNS. The remaining thing we will see in the next lecture.